What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo. Today we're going to talk about Loki. And I got to say, I think really both these uniforms are probably going to be winners for most of the player base because they're going to be useful for different reasons and really in different game modes, I think, if you want to play them optimally. One uniform is going to give you a lot of survivability, which is going to be the President uniform. And then the other uniform is going to give you a little bit more damage, which is the TVA uniform. Now, I do want to take a little time to appreciate the detail that Netmarble put in these uniforms. I love the fact that this thing says variant on the back. Freaking sick, man. Who would think that, they can make a uniform like this actually look cool? But, I mean, it's Loki, right? It's always going to look cool, which is dope. And then you have President Loki, which is right here. And look at the detail in this thing. He's got the shredded sleeves, shredded pants legs. I mean, it's pretty nice. I gotta admit, man, the detail to these characters, again, Netmarble just knocks it out of the park when it comes to detail. But these guys they're not all looks, right? There's a lot of substance to both of these characters. I mean, this guy here is going to be better really for ABX. Shout out to Vader. I seen his 11.1 million run with TVA Loki. That is insane. So, Supergiant, bye-bye, right? It is Loki. Loki is the ABX meta. And this guy here is actually just making splashes because of his survivability, and his damage isn't really that far off from TVA Loki. They're both super, super easy to play. So let's take a look at their skills here. So as far as passives, their passives are pretty much the same. There's nothing really different. You go to the 4-star passive, you got an energy attack on both of these uniforms, but on the President Loki uniform, you have when Dominance of Spirit skill is used, which is mind control, you get a decrease all damage received by 50% for 10 seconds, which is amazing. That is awesome. And he gets a heal, whereas in the TVA uniform, he just gets the 30% increase of energy attack, and he does get the guaranteed critical rate. So in the TVA uniform, the CTB of Rage is going to be better because you're just going to have that guaranteed critical rate. It's going to make the Rage a lot easier to proc. That's going to be one big benefit to playing with this version of Loki with a Rage, right? But he can actually play with a proc, guys. Like both of these uniforms can play with a proc, no problem. The one skill is pretty much the same on both of the characters as far as the text. The second skill is different. On the President Loki uniform, you actually have 3 seconds of invincibility. You have mind control with the damage received increased by 10%, which is awesome, and paralysis. And with the TVA uniform, you actually don't have anything. You don't have no invincibility. You don't have no mind control, nothing. And then on the third skill, we have a heal. We have 6 seconds of immunity. We have incapacitation. And then with the President Loki uniform, we actually have a heal. We have 6 seconds of immunity. So that's pretty much the same. Third skill is pretty much the same for both these characters. And by the way, you can cancel the 3 into the 5 and the 4. Get all the residual damage from the 3 and the 5. It's just sick. And it's tier 3 you can cancel, which is awesome. The fourth skill on the President Loki uniform has mind control. It has paralysis. It has a 55% increase of all attack that lasts for 7 seconds. And this is on an 8-second cooldown. And with the TVA uniform, you get a 50% increase of all attack. So there's an extra 5% all attack on the President Loki uniform, but in the TVA uniform, it does last an extra second. And this is on a 8.5-second cooldown. So the cooldowns are pretty similar. You do have paralysis on it. And then on the fifth skill, we have all defense down that goes up to 50% or goes up to 40%. It starts off at 15%. We have paralysis, and then we have a damage proc by 2 attacks. And with the President Loki uniform, you still got the damage proc for 2 attacks for the same amount, 50%. And then you still got the same all defense down, and you do have the paralysis. Another thing about the TVA uniform that I want to point out to you guys is, we have paralysis, we have burn, and then I believe it's tier 3 actually has silence. Yes, tier 3 has silence. So Loki can cover all of the seasons in ABX on top of everything else, which is insane. As far as their uniform effects for the TVA uniform, you get the chain hit damage by 10%, and then you ignore target dodge rate by 30%, which is going to be really good against Null, but I hear he's a little bit difficult to keep alive once you start facing high levels of Null. And with the President Loki uniform, the uniform effect is the same. Chain hit damage, ignore target dodge rate by 30%. So either way, with the uniforms, you're going to get that extra ignore dodge, which is amazing, my friends. Now, let's take a look at the TVA, or let's take a look at the President Loki uniform skills, because these really do shine. Loki's always had amazing looking skills. Well, in the last uniform anyways. But look at this 5. Very, very beautiful skill. And then the 4 skill, which in this uniform you can actually move around, whereas in the TVA uniform you can't, which is kind of a bummer. I wish they would have made the TVA uniform where you could actually move it around, but no, they didn't, unfortunately. Really cool looking skill. The second skill, nice. That is so cool. And then the 1, and you see a copy of Loki come out of the dimensional door, which is pretty awesome. And then the 3. And the beautiful thing is, man, again, you can just cancel the 3, the 5, and the 4, get all the residual damage from the 3 and the 5 all together while you're doing the landing, the proc on the 4, and you are good to go. It is insane. And his tier 3, just sick. You know, you see him coming out, nice, changing his looks. Oh, so freaking sick. So freaking sick. Just beautiful, beautiful skills, I gotta say. Let's throw out the TVA uniform. Let's see how these look. So in the TVA uniform, the 5 is pretty much about the same, pretty much the same thing. And then the 4, look at that. That is so cool. The 2, I actually canceled that 4 a little bit early. Nice. Now the 2 in this skill is actually an iframe, which is something to keep in mind, versus the second skill on the other uniform, the President Loki uniform, where it isn't. But you do have 3 seconds of invincibility on the other uniform. So it's not a massive deal that it isn't an iframe. Very, very cool. You got to give it to Netmarble, man. Seriously, when it comes to these animations, these things are just so gorgeous. This is a better view of the tier 3 too, by the way. And I mean, now I really want to tier 3 this guy even more than what I did. Because now I know he's an ABX meta, and I know a lot of you aren't going to care about that, which is the next subject we're going to talk about. I believe, at least from the testing I've done so far, that if you're just, only have enough crystals to buy 1 uniform, and you want a uniform for PvE, this thing is loading forever. But if you want a uniform for ABX, then the TVA one's going to be the one. I mean, he is the ABX meta. You can use him in all the seasons, which is amazing. Kind of a bummer for Supergiant, at least on Universal Villain Day. But it is what it is. Loki is now the king. And I do believe for like World Boss Legend and for PvP, the President Loki uniform is just going to be better. It's just going to have a lot better survivability. And the damage isn't far off from the TVA uniform. So let's jump into World Boss and let's do a little comparison between these guys. We'll go against Cole here, stage 99. And we'll start off with the TVA uniform. We'll play this for 1 minute and see how we do. Oh yeah, just real quickly, guys. Sorry, I kind of jumped the gun. As far as my build, I mean, we have 23,000 energy attack. We have 54% crit rate, and then we have 195 critical damage. Almost max critical damage. The other stats are maxed out. No Urus. All the gears are 25. So I am ready to tier 3 this guy, but I don't have any universal books thanks to tier 3 and Doom. Skills are all 6. ISO 8 set is just stage 6 Power Bang Rehawk set. And then we have a critical damage with cold damage. Unfortunately, the cold damage isn't helping him right now. And then a damage proc for 140%. Very, very free-to-play build and normal ranked uniforms for both of them, of course. Whenever you level up, because they're synergy uniforms, when you level up one, the other one's going to be leveled up automatically. And they're going to have the same uniform bonuses, which is pretty cool. Also, the fact that you pay 1,050 crystals for the first uniform, and then you pay 630 crystals for the second uniform isn't a bad deal. Because, I mean, if you're ABX oriented, you're going to want the TVA uniform. But if you're World Boss Legend oriented, which most of you are, you're probably going to want the President Loki uniform. But let's test this out. Let's see what happens. All right, TVA, let's see what we do. We don't need no stinking strikers. Now, this uniform here only has the one heal, right? Whenever he does mind control in the President Loki uniform, he's going to get that damage reduction by 50%, right? And it's just and a heal, which is crazy. All right, here we go. So just 3, 5, 4, and you can't move it around, which really does suck. Okay, now I could do the second skill, to try to avoid taking some damage. I can't see what's going on because Ebony's skill there. And I really like that the second skill puts him on the other side of Call or the world boss that you're facing. That's nice. Okay. So, I mean, it's just 3, 5, 4, and then throw in the second skill for a little extra survivability. Nice. And then you're ready to do 3, 5, 4 again. Easy to play. Very simple character to play, which is something that I'm loving. Now, we got to be real careful because Cole, he's going to do some bleed to us, and we're going to be croaking here. Ooh, oh, see, and there he died. And my bad, I went 8 seconds over the minute mark, but we got down to a little bit below the 12th bar in 1 minute and 8 seconds. So now let's see what happens when we put the President Loki uniform on him. I was having so much fun playing with him, I forgot about my timer there. Now, in this uniform, you're going to have a lot better survivability. And by the way, that damage that he's doing, you know, having 13% pierce on my account was very good. Considering no Urus, this crappy build, very good. All right, here we go. 3, 5, 4. And I just love that I can move this skill around. That's so nice. Let me just do the second skill. And the thing about this is, like, in this uniform, Cole really can't do nothing, right? He's just going to be under paralysis and mind control the whole time. He's just going to sit there like a lump on a log. And this is going to be the thing about facing, like, regular world bosses, except for maybe the last couple phases of Thanos, and then, of course, World Boss Legends. You know, you won't be able to do this then. But this is sick. This really is sick. Now, we want to make sure we go 8 seconds longer than 1 minute. So play for 1 minute, 8 seconds. Oh, yeah. And the thing is, against regular world boss, I want you to notice something here. We are actually doing more damage because Cole is just sitting there. He's not doing anything, right? So there is 1 minute and 8 seconds, and we actually did more damage with President Loki uniform. Better survivability, more heals, decreased damage received, you know, an extra invincibility on the second skill, although you have an iframe on the TBA uniform. So, I mean, my recommendation, at least from, you know, regular world boss, is President Loki uniform is definitely going to be the one to buy. That's an insane amount of damage to do with this build on this account. That is crazy. And we're definitely having some issues with loading screens today for some goofy reason. I'm impressed with both of them because, you know, you can use one of them. I don't know about, you know, like PvP, like in Timeline, but AC, President Loki's definitely going to be pretty amazing. I don't know about Timeline. I really doubt it, to be perfectly honest. He doesn't have any more iframe, but you never know. He might do pretty good. But they both have their uses. I mean, if you're ABX oriented, then get the TVA uniform. If you're going to be more about World Boss, then I would go with the President Loki uniform. I mean, having that extra survivability and being able to lock your opponents down the whole time with the mind control on the second skill and the mind control on the fourth skill is just nuts, guys. That is just nuts. Whereas in the TVA uniform, you know, you just can't do that. You know, the second skill doesn't have any mind control or paralysis. I mean, the 4 does have a paralysis, but you just have so much more CC in the President Loki uniform, and it just allows you to do a lot more damage, at least to the regular world bosses. Now, when you go against World Boss Legend, it's going to be a different story because you can't debuff Null, you can't debuff Mephisto. Your paralysis and your mind control won't work. And from the videos that I've seen, President Loki can keep up with TVA Loki in World Boss, right? And then what you just saw, President Loki pretty much smash TVA Loki as far as World Boss Legend is concerned, or as far as World Boss is concerned, right? But for ABX, the TVA uniform is #1. That's already been confirmed. It is massive. Honestly, 11.1 million is just nuts on any account. And ABX, that is just crazy. So I'm thoroughly impressed with both of these uniforms. I think they're awesome. I want to tier 3 them both, but again, I just don't have the Universal books. I can't tier 3 them, so that is unfortunate. So let me know how y'all feeling about both of these Loki uniforms, and if you're going to buy one of these, and I do stream on Twitch at Reset, the link will be in the description below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.